Tip number 4 on the list, go for the looks, okay? Okay, wait, no, Aviol, what? Go for the looks? Do you know how surface that is and how carnal that is? I mean, just go for the look. What are you saying? Yeah, fam, we truthfully have some problems here. The doctrinal videos come out like once a week, and I just can't seem to encapsulate all of everything that we want to talk about in regards to apostolic doctrines in like one video. I'm so used to putting so much content out, not said in a bragging way or anything like that, but I'm just so used to that I'm like, how in the world are we going to touch all these subjects that we need to touch? Well, my friends, we are going to have to touch on as many apostolic doctrines as we possibly can. But if you are interested in learning more about apostolic doctrines and spending like a month's time taking in-depth looks every single day at apostolic doctrines, you're going to want to join the Yapastolic Book Club, TYBC, where we are actually reading doctrine-orientated material every single day, like 5 pages a day. It is a book club for young apostolics by young apostolics. So if you're looking to expand your knowledge on the oneness of God, baptism in Jesus' name, the infilling of the Holy Ghost evidenced by speaking in other tongues, and things of that nature, go ahead and head to the link down in the description box below. That'll take you over to TYBC, where you can join absolutely free. All you gotta do is pay for the book. After you do that, like I said, 100% free. There you go. You got the book. You got a community of young apostolics who are reading it with you, and you're diving into apostolic material in a way like never done before. So it's an awesome resource, an awesome tool. If you're looking to join TYBC, go ahead and click the link down in the description box below. But now you're not watching today's video for TYBC. In fact, you are watching today's video for 7 super secret little tips on dating as a young apostolic. Now you guys got to know, you guys must know this super secret valuable chunk of information that I need to give you guys. At the end of this video, there will be a super special surprise only for those who make it to the end. Watch this entire video through, and then I'll give you guys access to, like I said, the super secret prize. So here we go with 7 rules for apostolic dating. This should be interesting, to say the least. Okay, so now first and foremost, this is coming from me personally, young apostolic power in action, Yapa238. I haven't dated around, I haven't dated a super many girls, and I'm not too sure if that gives me grounds or it doesn't give me grounds to talk about dating. I would say it does, because I don't know how to balance that one out. But I do have some very wise approaches to dating that I personally feel are wise, and that'll help you score the right one. So fellas, listen up, and ladies, go ahead and plug this in your ears. You're gonna want to listen to the entirety of today's video, because we're gonna hit these 7 super awesome tips, rules, whatever you want to call them, to get in with the right one. And we all want to find the right one, because the right one just does something to you. You know what I'm saying now? Okay, let's jump into today's tips. So first on the list, don't date to date, okay? Date to marry. Now this may be a paradigm shift for a lot of other people, because you look at something that's good looking and you're like, man, I want to date that. Okay, but really, what's the purpose of dating? The purpose of dating, or courting, depending on which terminology you would like to use. I mean, honestly, I would like to say courting, but for the sake of getting everybody on the same page, we'll talk about dating in the light of marriage. And the reason why you want to date is to find out if this person is someone that you would want to spend the rest of your life with. You get to know them, you get to understand how they think, okay? That is the actual purpose of dating. Dating should not be a pastime, okay? It shouldn't be something because you're lonely, because you just want to talk to someone at 11 o'clock at night, which it shouldn't be. You should be talking to Jesus at 11 o'clock at night, or talking to your pillow with your eyes closed. But that's a subject for another day. That should not be the purpose and the motivator for you looking for a significant other, okay? Date to date, don't date to marry. The benefit of this is that it'll give you blinders and help you be super laser targeted focused on scoring the right one, okay? That means you won't waste time. The person that you decide to date will be someone who obviously has quality in them, or values that you find in them to be something that you value. And so you're literally cutting out and shaving so many hours and hours, days, months, and possibly even years of unnecessary wasted time when you're thinking of dating in the light of marriage, okay, and not just as a pastime. Also, you save yourself a whole bunch of heartache, because if y'all break up, your heart's broken, and then you're making tweets about her and how she was never cute in the first place. You don't want to waste time like that. Time is valuable, you know it, and so you want to be very laser targeted with your focus. So don't just date to date, date to marry, okay? Rule number 2, and this is specifically for young apostolics, let the Holy Ghost, the Spirit of the Lord, lead you to the person that that you are going to be dating, okay? Okay, now the Spirit works in multiple ways. God is bigger than just him speaking to you. Now, I know that's a big statement, but he is. He's bigger than him speaking to you. He has his word for you to read. He has circumstances that he sets up in your life for you to read, literally to read. And I learned that from personal experience. God will create circumstances for you to search for him and find his words and what he's saying in that season of your life. I remember one of the most difficult times in my recent years. Tears were streaming down my face. I was praying in my prayer closet, and the Holy Ghost never answered me regarding my situation by his voice, okay? He only spoke to me through my circumstances and my spiritual authority. So, all that to say, the Holy Ghost is very interested in who you get with, because you two people are his children, and when you guys come together, you guys become one flesh. Okay, that's one right there. Okay, just one flesh, right? Now, because of that happening and the Holy Ghost taking that much interest in who you get with, you need to be sensitive to him in all the ways he speaks so that you can find the right one. Okay, sometimes he may lead by bringing you two together in a particular environment, maybe a conference or something like that. And you may not have heard thus saith the Lord, but he had orchestrated your guys' meeting, and when you brought it past your spiritual authority, you guys dated and you guys did your little deal, you guys ended up getting married in the perfect will of God, even though he may have never verbalized it. Okay, and I'm not saying that you don't find his confirmation verbally. We're going to talk about that a little bit later, but you got to be Spirit-led in your choosing who you're going to date. Tip number 3, pray and fast about critical aspects of your relationship. Okay, so let's say you're starting to date. Make sure you pray about it. Make sure you're praying it's the will of God, not it's the will of man, and God, this is what I want you to do. But God, if it's your will, please let this happen. If it's not, then don't let it happen. Okay, you want to make sure you're praying the right type of prayers, not the wrong type of prayers when you're going about choosing someone, okay? This relationship is the most critical relationship that you're going to be in for the entirety of your lifetime when it comes to being a human being. So you want to make sure that you've prayed about it, you've fasted about it, okay? And then as you guys progress and you guys get a little more serious about the individual, because the individual is so cute and cuddly and just like woohoo, as you guys continue and as you guys move forward, make sure you're praying and fasting about the critical aspects of your relationship, just so that you're not having your flesh and or any outside forces and demonic forces messing up y'all's relationship, okay? This relationship is extremely valuable, so make sure you're fasting about it, especially before you start dropping the IOI on a deal and then just making it all bad because your hearts are just like, ugh, just like so bound together and stuff like that. You don't want to have that happen. Make sure you show some type of seriousness when it comes to moving and progressing in the will of God for your life when it comes to dating. Tip number 4 on the list, go for the looks, okay? Okay, wait, no, Aviol, what? Go for the looks? Do you know how surface that is and how carnal that is? I mean, just go for the look. What are you saying? Okay, now before you walk out on me, pause the video and just go to something else, let me explain why you gotta be looking for the looks, okay? I'm not talking about the eye shape and the way her nose does that one cute little thing, or his hairs and his just beautifulness and all that stuff. I'm not talking about physical appearances. I'm talking about the fruits that they bear, okay? Jesus said that you will know them by their fruits, okay? You want to know the individual that you're gonna be with by what they show. How do they act when they're being praised? How do they act in an instance where they are called on to worship? How do they act when they're being corrected? How do they act when their spiritual authority applauds a certain thing that they've done? How does she act around other girls? How does he act around other guys? How does he act in front of other girls, and how does she act in front of other guys that are obviously showing interest in your significant other? You gotta know these things, and you got to be looking for these things, because if you see a little bit of that cockiness and he likes like a ton of girls around him and he's just like yeah, you may want to go ahead and be like a smooth little stone thrown on the lake and skip over him. The reason being is because if he's doing that number and he's like all into himself while you're not with him, when you do get with him, he's still probably gonna be the same because he didn't get a checkup from the neck up and he didn't get that straightened out with himself, okay? So go for the looks. If they're not a worshiper, if you don't see them praising and magnifying Jesus, if you cannot see good fruit in their lives, you gotta cut them, you gotta get out the way. You don't want to date them because you don't want your heart to be intertwined with a heart like that. A heart that isn't sensitive to God, a heart that doesn't want things of God. You deserve better than that, and you will get better than that if you choose to sacrifice now in order to receive better later. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Tip number 5, don't get caught up with her, him, or the lust of the flesh. Okay, now here's the thing. She's cute, he's handsome, and the moonlight just makes him look oh so much better. And the thing is, you as an apostolic young person are just that, an apostolic young person. And with every single young person who's normal between the ages of 12 and 22 and further beyond then, you may start seeing that individual in like a little bit of a different light, okay? Oh, Aviol, I would never. Hey, but let's just be real. A guy and a girl together who like each other, they're attracted to each other. God had so ordained it to be. And when they see each other and they desire each other, they're gonna want some of each other, okay? So, with that being said, don't get caught in a situation with him, her, and your buddy over here called the lust of your flesh, okay? Because when he starts to talking, her lust of the flesh may be talking at the same time, and you and her may not be strong enough, honestly, keeping it real, to dispute the thoughts that are coming from the lust of the flesh in that moment, okay? And so you do not want to end up in a situation like that for a litany of reasons that we're going to get into as we venture further into the 7 rules of apostolic dating. But you definitely sure will not act according to what the lust of the flesh over here is telling you to act like. If your mama and your daddy was around and your youth pastor and your pastor, you have all them in the same vicinity, trust me, for a certain you are not going to embarrass yourself and disregard or disrespect and just mess yourself up in their eyes at that moment. So you find out that there is safety when there's a whole bunch of people that ain't your peers that'll actually tell on you and that'll actually ratch out if you did something like that by your side, okay? So don't find yourself in a situation with her or him in the lust of the flesh. A-okay? Rule number 6. Rule number 6 is to remember that that person is not yours. They do not belong to you. First and primarily, they belong to Jesus. Second, they belong to this future spouse of theirs, okay? Whether male or female, she has a future husband and he has a future wife, okay? And you don't know if you are that individual. And so, in a dating relationship, you have got to have that in your mind and understand that, okay? The reason why you gotta do that is because when you keep that train of thought that I don't know who this girl is going to end up with and I don't know who this guy is going to end up with, and so as we go about saying it for the will of God for each other in a dating aspect, there's certain things I cannot do, certain things I should not say, certain things and certain ways I should not act, because that is reserved for his wife and her husband, not me, not I. And so it's important for us to know that so that we walk with those boundaries in our relationships, okay? Certain actions to take place, okay, whether physically or emotionally, it wouldn't be appropriate because that person belongs to someone else. They do not belong to you, and that's just one thing we got to reckon with when we're dating. Unless you got the green light from the Holy Ghost, and even at then, there's some things you don't do until a particular time, okay? Rule number 6 is to remember that that person is not yours. They belong to someone else. God first, and that other person second. So don't mess up their life because you got a little problem with the lust of the flesh. Don't mess up your life because you had a little problem yourself, okay? Let's just stay away from that, and that is rule number 6. Rule number 7, and I'm sure that there are a lot of different rules that we can cover, but for the sake of this video, we're going to condense it down to 7. Rule number 7 is to keep things holy, okay? If you have to not let your parents see your text messages, if you gotta hide your Snapchat from them or your phone from them, your emails or your Facebook messages, your messenger messages, if you gotta hide all that stuff from people, okay, you may find that your relationship isn't that holy, okay? Yes, because the principles of holiness and separation reach all the way down into our dating relationships. And so keeping things holy in conversation, keeping things holy in how you express yourself to that particular individual, keeping things holy in the way that you guys make physical contact, whether it's a high five, a handshake, a hug, or whatever, make sure everything's holy, okay? And if you feel yourself going a little on the unholy side, make sure you pull yourself back, set up those boundaries in your guys' relationship that need to be in order for you guys not to end up going into an unholy place and staying in an unholy place and living in a relationship that is unholy, because then you take that unholy relationship and you lock your guys' selves in under quote-unquote holy matrimony when it was unholy to begin with. You guys are gonna have a very, very rough time in your relationship because you guys fused it and started it unholy, okay? And even if that unholiness is restored to holiness, right, the history and track record of that person not being trustworthy or not showing his or her faithfulness to God or self-discipline to wait for particular things, okay, that all can really hurt and cause problems in the future for you guys. So you want to make sure everything's holy. Make sure your spiritual authority is in tune with your guys' relationship. Make sure your guys' parents are a-okay with everything that you're sending, everything that you're talking about, everything that you're communicating one to another. Okay, just make sure the thing is holy so that your guys' holy matrimony could truly be a holy matrimony. Now, Yapa fam, those are my 7 rules for apostolic dating. I know we could jump into so many other rules, boundary setting, when to say the right thing, when to refrain from this type of conversation. I mean, there's so many different ways and avenues and places that we can go when it comes to rules for dating, but this is very simply my comprehensive guide to dating. And this is coming from me personally, okay? So just some things to think about. I hope it blesses you. Now, what is this big secret that I have kept up until this point? Now I want to reveal to you the super special little thing that we got for you guys. I assume that everybody who watched this video is probably someone who is looking to date or someone who is currently in a relationship, okay? And so just for you guys, those of you guys who are reviewing today's video, I have created a 7 rules for apostolic dating checklist that you guys can take and apply in your guys' relationships or to keep in mind for when you do enter a relationship. These 7 rules for apostolic dating. Woohoo! Yes! Very simple, very straightforward. 7 rules to apostolic dating checklist. All you gotta do is get the checklist out, read over each section to make sure that you're walking in the best possible light when it comes to your Holy Ghost filled apostolic relationship. Now, my friends, this isn't the end all be all. This is something for you guys to integrate into whatever you guys are studying and reading about when it comes to apostolic relationships and dating and stuff like that. So take it as an apostolic resource from a young apostolic power in action, Yapa238, as a resource from Yapa238 for you guys to benefit you guys to hopefully encourage positive changes within your guys' relationship as well. So that is what I have for you guys. It's a gift. Go ahead and click the link down in the description box below. There's 2 links, one to the Facebook group for TYBC if you're interested in learning about core apostolic doctrines and the things of the Spirit in a group and in a community of young apostolics who are hungry for the things of God. Go ahead and click on that link. But the second link is for you to download the 7 rules checklist so you guys can go about your apostolic relationships in a very apostolic manner. I really hope this blesses you guys in a fantastic way. If you're watching this video again and you have already downloaded the checklist, go ahead and comment down below how it has helped you. I'm excited to hear all the positives that come from this 7 rules checklist. So the Yapa fam, that's all I got for you guys today. Follow Yapa238 on all the social media channels that we are on. Like us on Facebook. Also join the Yapa fam Facebook group. Join TYBC over on Facebook as well. Follow Yapa238 on Instagram to get daily apostolic motivation through the forms of posts, videos, and also IGTV, where we have the exclusive morning motivational moments there on Instagram. Follow Yapa238 on Twitter as well, Pinterest, SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play to get a hold of the Yapa238 apostolic audio experience, where all the things that we talk about here on Yapa238 you can easily access through your iPhone, your Android, and whatever else you use to listen to your favorite content. Get Yapa on those platforms, get Yapa238 everywhere, and know that I love you guys. To be Yapastolic, above all, be apostolic. Get that download right now before it completely runs out, okay? Go ahead, the description box down below, click on the link, download it this second so you can know and so you can remember the 7 rules to apostolic dating. Click the link quick, 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 click the link quick.